Welcome to the greatest sports show in the world. Good week, everybody. Hey, 2 episodes in 1 week. We're really killing it this week. This time we got the whole crew on. We got Jess. Jess, what's going on?
Hey, Nick, how's it going?
Going well. We got Kev. What's going on?
What's up?
And we got second Nikki Boston on here. Nikki, what's going on, buddy?
How's it hanging, brother?
It's going good. Hey, before we get going, I just want to tell everyone you can find us on all social media channels at the BLPA. You can find Jess at Will's Like My Bag. You can find me at Nicker Jones on Twitter. You can find Nikki Boston at Coach_Nick44. And I don't know where you can find Kev because he doesn't have it, but I think at Ficus Kev at Twitter. You can find Kev.
I don't do the Twitter. I don't do the Twitter.
What do you mean? That's Instagram. I mean, you gotta find us somewhere.
But if I did have a handle, it would definitely be.
I'm actually gonna make one.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna post a different picture of Ficus every day. It'll be
just Photoshop me next to it with my arm around it.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Also, this show brought to you by our good friends over at Hockey Wolf, hockeywolf.com. HockeyWolf.com, beer leaguers just like you and me, trying to make the game more affordable. My man Trav over there he's just killing it. If you need team gear, if you need some hockey, your own personal gear, I think they even have lacrosse stuff. So you can get in there. You can outfit yourself, outfit your team, make it more affordable. So go check them out, hockeywolf.com. All right. So I have an update on last weekend we talked about. Is it too cold for pond hockey? I played in this pond hockey tournament, the Binghamton Pond Hockey Festival, and I want to be frank and honest. I am so stoked they canceled on Friday. And not even just cold as fuck. Like it wasn't even the temperature. It was the wind. Like the wind was blowing at like 40 miles an hour. It was like a -46 wind chill. So you know what? Can it be too cold for hockey? You're goddamn right it can be. Going 40 miles an hour, you don't want to be outside.
You talked so much shit too.
Well, I did. And listen, I'm a stand-up guy, and I'm gonna admit I was wrong. I would not. If I would have walked out that day and said I got to go put hockey gear on, I would have said no, I'm not gonna go put hockey gear on today.
Wow! I haven't hit that spot yet. I'm sorry, guys. If someone's got a game going, I will never say no. But there might be a time. Again, I'm 42 years old. I haven't played pond hockey in forever. So, but I don't know, Nikki.
Listen.
Yeah.
I actually couldn't play the whole weekend because I hurt my back pretty bad. Like I fell shoveling snow. So I know that's speaking of old.
Thing to do.
And because I had a tournament this weekend that was actually our tournament, I was like, I want to make sure that I can play because this tournament we got coming up in Savannah this weekend, we have 80 players. 84 are sold out, but we have 80 players and 68 of them are first-time players with us. So I wanted to be cool. I mean, I'm going to score 0 goals, but I'm going to be there on the ice, and it's just going to be electric. And but anyway, it was too cold on Friday, but then we went up Saturday and it was still really freaking cold, but there was no wind. The sun was shining, and it was we spent all day out there. They had fire pits all around. It was amazing. I love it. We're going to do a pond hockey tournament up there next year around the same area. It's going to be insane. Hopefully it won't be -40 with the wind chill or whatever it was. And I won't have to say, oh, sorry, we got to cancel a couple of days. But it was a great time in Binghamton. And then, like I said, I'm in Oklahoma City right now visiting my folks on my way to Savannah, Georgia on Thursday. And it's a new hockey town for us. It's a new hockey town for them, I think.
I love it.
Yeah,
it is.
Super stoked.
I love it.
Super stoked about it. So we got that coming up, which is going to be insane. But the biggest thing we got coming on, and she's going to come on here in a few minutes, is we got Nikki Boston's cousin, Sara Civian. She's on a podcast called Too Many Men. You've probably seen her on the NHL Network. She was at the All-Star game, all the festivities all weekend. So she's going to come on and talk to us a little bit about this. And we're going to talk about furthering the women's game. I mean, obviously you guys have seen an influx of women in the sport here in the last few years. And so we want to just talk to her about that and see kind of what her thoughts on that. You know, what's the NHL doing well in terms of promoting the women's in the sport and what they're not doing so well. I'm going to put her on the hot seat and make her answer some tough questions. And then have a lot of fun. I think she's going to talk to us about some really cool stuff. But is there anything we want to get to before Sarah gets here in a few minutes?
Well, okay, you got something?
No, I'm gonna save my stuff for when she's on.
Yeah, no, I mean, away from the women's sports and away from Sarah coming on, I think, one of the cool topics that we, I think is a big thing too, is that I'd like to talk about in the future is, the transitions of, of seeing more American players playing in the NHL from college, and instead of playing major junior. But with that being said, especially with me as a coach right now, it's something maybe because I'm becoming so more used to it, that you're having players that even at the college level, they want you to age out. I mean, I went right from prep school at 18 years old to Division I college hockey, right? Which was great. Now you can't do that. They want college kids now 20. The average age of a college hockey player as a freshman is 20 years old.
Wow.
Holy,
They wait for you to age out before they want you to come now. If you have 2 years of juniors, no matter if you're playing private school, prep school, it's an amazing thing. And I think it's also with major junior now too, that's been a big change. And I don't know if you guys have ever looked at this or seen this before, but it's happening a lot more. And I think, to tell you the truth, it's hurting college players getting drafted. You're not seeing as many college hockey players getting drafted than we have seen in the past. And I don't know, it's because if they don't think they're developing fast enough. But we used to see at least 2-3 guys. Danny Heatley, right? I mean, guys would go at Johnny Gaudreau, going in the top,
But you know what? You know why I think that is, Nikki? I think it's because if you look at Johnny Gaudreau, and Sarah actually just got in here, so we're going to get her on in just 1 second. But you look at guys like Johnny Gaudreau, and I know as a Flames fan, I'm a huge Johnny hockey fan. We're scared that these guys are just going to go to 4 years of college and then become a free agent. And we're starting to kind of see that happening. And so maybe that is a real concern around the league. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously my expertise lend himself to beer league. So I don't know the business side of things, but as a fan, that does scare me. Like when you get a guy, I mean, look at Adam Fox for the Rangers, same thing. Like he basically forced himself to be traded out from the Calgary organization because he wanted to go play in the New York Rangers system, right? So, okay, let's bring Sarah in.
Sorry, guys. It was just the thing I was thinking of.
No, that's great. I think it's great. Great topic.
All right, clicking her in. Here she comes. Sarah. Can you hear
Jimmy
us?
is another one. I like that conversation. What's up?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, Sarah.
Nothing. Excuse my appearance.
Hi, Sarah, my
please. I had a
beautiful
rough
cousin.
week.
How are you?
Do you remember this basement? I'm living here now.
Me too.
Love it.
So we kind of talked about you on the front end, but we said, you're part of a podcast, Too Many Men. You were at the All-Star festivities. Nick said that you wrote for The Athletic. And so we're so stoked that you're spending some time with us today to talk to us about hockey. Thank you very much for being here.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem. So I guess we'll start. We'll just kick it right off the start. You're looking pretty tan. How was Florida?
Yeah, it was a time for sure. It's always so great to catch up with people with the things that are going on, and then you just see, oh yeah, this is why I love this again. It's like so many good people from the top to the bottom, and then of course seeing it's about me and my media experience and the parties. No, it's awesome to see all the league's stars and how the younger guys are kind of ushering in more personality. That was fun.
Well, I think that's the big part of the game, and what we want to talk to you about is one thing that we're going to ask you about in a little bit is how you think that the All-Star game promotes the game of hockey, and then we want to talk to you about women in pro sport and how that helps promote it and how it doesn't. Too, we want to ask questions about that. But my number one burning question I want to ask you is, what was your most surprising answer to what their favorite Taylor Swift song was?
It was just all of them not knowing one. Maybe they were just put on the spot and not expecting to be asked kind of a wild question. But I was so confused at how there were not even any good answers. Like somebody said, McDavid said 22, and he was like, "Why are you asking me?" I'm like, "Whatever, because we need you more personality out of you, Connor." And then
100.
I liked Jack Hughes's answer. He said, "I can't name one song, but every time you go to any bar in America, you're gonna hear a Taylor Swift song and then like a dubstep step remix. So I like that he gave some personality.
I was trying to think if I
Yeah.
could name one, and then I was like, all right, I know "Shake It Off." That's all I know.
Yeah.
There you
You
go.
at least gotta know "Shake It Off." That's like a drunk girl breakup anthem right there.
And you know,
Which is why I know
I
it.
might know
you
from
know?
experience. Yeah.
I probably
been there.
can't name. I probably can't name one, but I like know the lyrics. Like if like he kicked it off, like "Marry me, Juliet, and never."
That's
have-" I mean,
embarrassing.
Love story. Mitch Marner said that one.
yeah, so I feel like, and I do like that we're trying to inject a little bit more personality because you're right, McDavid, like bona fide superstar on the ice, but off the ice, bona fide fourth line grinder when it comes to personality. Like he just doesn't.
Boring.
Yeah, and so like
Mhm.
we want like I'm from this Oklahoma, right? That's I live in Calgary now, but I'm from Oklahoma, and we want to be able to promote the game to people that don't know that much about it. And if I have to listen to Connor McDavid talk, that's not it for me.
I know. I've given him a lot of crap though, and then I've heard a little bit off the record that he's actually has a really good personality, but it's kind of more the league. But I don't know. I believe that when I see it. I haven't really got to talk to him off the record, so I'm not sure. I can't confirm or deny that.
Well, I think
But
I think
but here's the thing is
Interesting.
too, guys, you have to understand, and I know, and maybe because I've seen this kid play since he was 16 years old. I was lucky to, go watch him play major junior and things like that. But the kid, he's 26 years old, guys. He's won four four Art Ross and two MVPs by 26 years old. He's the only player that actually has a shot to break 150 points. The only player that's ever done that was Mario Lemieux in 1980 something. This is a kid that has literally carried the league and trying to carry an organization on his back. So I'm just saying, what my point is, he's still only 26 years old. I think sometimes we forget that about him because he's done so much and he's so much, right, Sarah? I mean, I'm just saying, trust me, I've heard other interviews here. The kid's a dud when you talk to him sometimes, right? But at the same time too, the kid is the league. I mean, he has the potential. He hasn't even hit his ceiling yet in talent wise. And that's unbelievable.
I know he keeps getting better. It's really insane. I feel like I have so normalized him in my head that like I need to not do that because he's so good that I just get used to watching him skate circles around people and I forget how good he is. Yeah. But that's so true. I'd like to see him outside of Edmonton. Maybe that because it's just kind of a dysfunctional front office situation. So.
I think also Canadian media is so much more harsh than U.S. media. I mean, you look as a Flames fan, like Kachuk loves being in Florida because he just gets to drive his golf cart around, and that's been ran down our throat for this whole year as Flames fans.
Mm-hmm.
And
you are really bitter about that one.
I'm mad about Gaudreau. I'm mad about Kachuk. Yeah. I'm mad about Fox. Listen, I'm mad that the Flames have never got to draft number 1 overall and never get a chance at Bedard because, listen, Sarah, tell me if I'm wrong here. Okay, just agree with me by blinking. Bedard's going to Arizona. It's just written in the script. Matthews is going to go there. That way they can build a new stadium. I'm telling you, I'm writing the future here for you guys. 100%.
I think you're projecting a little bit. I don't think
that is that's why I love you.
Yeah. There's always what's good for the league, and then there's like, what are they actually going to do?
And what's good for Nick? That's really what it comes
down
to.
What would be good for me went to the Flames and then Gaudreau came back and they all fit everyone under the salary cap. But I know that's not going to happen. So I have to just kind
Sarah, do you see that he just named off Gaudreau, Kachuk, all Boston guys? Do you notice this? It's a constant thing here, especially from Calgary. Keith Kachuk, he grew up in Boston. Johnny Gaudreau, a Boston College guys. What's the matter here? You know what I mean?
Well, we just need to get everyone in Boston to play for the Flames.
Right.
But anyway,
why not?
Let's talk about your experience outside of asking those guys questions and just kind of what was your experience at the All-Star game? What do you think they did right, and what do you think they did wrong? Because let's face it, for the hockey fan that just likes hockey, I am not that into the All-Star game, and I think a lot of people share my sentiment.
Yeah, we're all having the same take, and then I get bored and annoyed, and I like to flip it off on everybody. Like, I actually think I don't want to crap on the league too much because it is for kids, right? Like you think about what am I going to do? Like enjoy the All Street? Like it's not really like for adults, but at the same time, this skills competition particularly was so bad. It was just not continuous. Like they wouldn't finish events. They did the goalie tandem thing, and it was like they didn't announce who won the $30,000. They didn't announce the rules, and it just kind of felt maybe they did on TV and not where I was sitting, but it was just not
Mm.
in a good in-game experience whatsoever. And I think the players were kind of there was too much sitting
Yeah.
around. It lasted for one too many hours. There's no reason a skills competition should last for 3 hours. And the golf part, I'm like, that why wasn't that in the pregame show? I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was creative. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
I thought the golf thing was creative. I thought the hitting the surfboards was creative. I would have liked to see them like
Yeah.
go for like each other's like more dunking involved. The whole like acting out a skit thing was pretty weird. But I like the standard
Yeah,
that you keep
they-
the like accuracy, you keep the speed.
I didn't see
shots,
any
like,
of
I like
this, and it
those.
sounds really fucking weird. Like I didn't see it. I'm not an All-Star Game
So I was
fan,
texting you about it. Like,
but I'm saying
was
like it just
special.
like just hearing you guys talk about it, I'm just sitting here going, what the fuck is going on?
Well, like she said,
I
it is
think a
for
lot of the
kids.
players felt that too.
Yeah.
Well, it is for kids, and I
Yeah.
get that. And
Yeah.
like we're a beer league show, and so we try to look at things, from the beer league perspective. And I've talked to so many people in pro organizations and say, well, "Hey, listen, I get you're trying to reach the kids, so they'll play hockey or they'll get their parents to buy them this stuff." But like beer leaguers are important too because we're the ones that buy the things for the kids. So how come
Right.
we can't market more to the adult level hockey player? And that's just not it. And I know a bunch of those influencers that they have there. What are your thoughts on having them there? Because it just seems like the way they do this stuff, like who's the guy, the always hockey guy that's just out there doing puck tricks, and he's just like it relates not like you can't use any of that actually in the game of hockey. And I just look at it, I'm like, why are we doing this? Like, why aren't we showing kids people that are actually good at real hockey?
Oh, I don't know. I kind of like that take. I think it's kind of a boomer take though. Just to like the little kids now, like I was in Carolina when Spetch started doing the Michigan, and then I went to some not minor league, but kids games like the junior canes, and they were all doing the Michigan, and it was just a fun little thing.
Yeah.
And I do understand what you mean, where it's like you don't want the kids just thinking this is a league where everyone's going to pull off the Michigan, and you're already seeing that kind of phase out with people fighting people for doing it and things. As like, that's why we love hockey. That's why we love hockey too. But at the same time, I like that there's new skills. Maybe they should have done a Michigan off or something. It did. I don't know. It just dragged on. There wasn't a lot of talk. And the influencers, I know what you mean, like the Hey Barber guy.
Yeah, Pavel and Nasher and
Yeah. I love Nasher. They're both really
Kane Van
nice.
They're great
the nicest
guys.
People.
Yeah, great guy. I've met both of them. Like Kane Van Gate is another one.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like, how is this making it? I guess, and maybe it is. Maybe that does entertain the 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds.
Well,
But
I think it's also too, Nikki. Like what I think Sarah's trying to say is that like the kid that you're talking about, I never forget his name. He does all those tricks. I see that. He never played hockey, but he's really good at skating, and he does the stick handling, and he puts it up on his stick and all that kind of stuff. The one thing I do like about that, I'm just talking from a hockey perspective, is that it does allow kids to start thinking out of the box as a hockey player. It start like, for instance, like Sarah's talking about the Michigan. Now, does anybody remember the original Michigan? Why it's called the Michigan? No.
Mike,
Okay. It was done by,
whatever.
it was done by no, it's okay. No, it was done by a player by the name of Mike Legg in 1998. So you have to understand that was 1998 when the first time that was done in Michigan. Mike Legg played there. Great guy, great player. And that is now at this point in 2023, it's transformed over those days, right? Over those years. It becomes a talent. It becomes something that you have to practice. It becomes something that's actually done in a game. And yeah, you're going to get your ass kicked probably for trying it, but it's still being done, and it's now becoming part of hockey. What I'm trying to get at is that when you see players and you see influencers and guys like that doing things like that, it gets a young kid going, well, let me get creative here. It allows a player to kind of work on their hands a little bit more. It allows them to maybe try things that, yes, you're not going to do in a game, but maybe actually figure something out that you can do in a game. I like it to the point of it allows you to think outside of the box. And I think sometimes with hockey, we get so right there. You play defense, you play offense, you shoot the puck, you hit, you fight, get out, go sit on the bench.
So you'd like to see more
start developing it. Yeah, it's got to start developing,
more
and
like
I think
on
that's
the ice too, not kind of.
well.
These,
That's
like,
what I
little
think
side
too.
gigs.
Just with the All-Star game, that's what they're trying to do as well. They're trying to get the game progressed, right? I mean, players are getting bigger, they're getting stronger, they're getting faster. I mean, the game now is so friggin' fast; it's unbelievable. But at the same time, too, we've got to we've got to get going here. We've got to start bringing up. The players of the younger guys got to start getting to that level, and we've got to start entertaining more. So I think they're trying to do. They're setting the bar here, and they want it here. But they're with All-Star game, they're being so ridiculous that because of the fact that they want to try to get it to a level where everybody's watching it.
The other thing too is that if you're,
we also,
what you were saying before, Nikki, is there anything that they could do that would make you interested in it? Because and does it really matter? You know what I mean? Is maybe just true. Make it about the kids. And for me, like I just, I have a 5-6 days off of watching hockey or whatever. I do something else. I check in with my family, see how they're doing. And
who would like to do that? The players at the game, like a lot of them aren't thrilled about going to it.
Well,
and it's like, how do you fix that? Maybe don't do it on the bye week. Maybe do it at a different date so they actually care about it, because that's the biggest issue to me. Like, who could blame them? Like, even when I was like a beat reporter covering one team, it's like, I'm not going to the All-Star game. See you guys later. And I know some coaches who weren't thrilled about going this year. So, and I totally, who could blame them? There's that, and there's also, it was ESPN's first year, so I think they were trying really hard, and sometimes you can tell when people are trying really hard and it's not panning out.
Yeah, and to answer your question, I do like 3-on-3 hockey. I think it's exciting. I like offense. I like seeing that. I mean, that's why I don't watch soccer, because there's not enough goals being scored, and so the 3-on-3, and I get it. Even Canada, even living in Canada now, you're seeing Hockey Canada kind of transition to that 3-on-3 stuff that USA Hockey's doing growing up, because they want to have the players playing with the puck more. Well, and so I do like the 3-on-3. It's just all the extra stuff just kind of turns me on. It's just not for me, and I'm not saying it's not good for the sport. I'm just asking, how is it good for the sport? How is it furthering the sport? Yeah.
Do they still fine people for not going? Because for a while they were fining or suspending or something like that, because players were like faking injuries and stuff because they didn't want to go. They're just like, oh yeah, I got a knee thing. I can't make it.
My muscle hurts. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a 1-game penalty.
It is still doing that. Okay, I wasn't sure.
A 1-game penalty. Wow. Yeah.
Sarah, what did you think of Sara Nurse being there, and how she competed, and what do you think? And I'm being honest, what do you think it has to do with women's hockey? And what do you think of women's hockey at the stage right now? I mean, we'd love to dive into that a little bit.
Well, here's a little Canton connection. Do you know Brian Burke?
Yeah.
Brian Burke, his son Patrick, who is in the Department of Player
Safety.
Yeah, I dated
his oldest sister.
Oh. There you go.
So he does. So the answer is yes, he does know.
Yeah.
Of course, Nikki Boston knows him. He knows everyone.
Mm-hmm. Well, he kind of coordinated that whole thing, and it was cool to see that pan out the way it did. They were on the red carpet, and I think, people are saying they let her win or whatever. Just shut up. I hate that there's a discourse around all of it. I thought it was a cool moment, and people have to ruin it by talking about it in either which way, whether you thought whatever or not. It's not that freaking serious, and I loved seeing her there. I think she's so cool, and everything she and some of the other women, Hillary Knight, are doing for the league. Like, you see Hillary Knight on social media. She's always doing these TikTok things and having these brand deals. And I think the brand deals and stuff are really, and the women have not an advantage of that, but they take more opportunities with those things because they don't make enough money as it is. Mm-hmm. So it's cool to see them kind of pioneer all this stuff. Yeah.
See, and that's good. It's good that you said that, because that was my one question: is how do you feel that is furthering the game, because like you said, I did see a lot of discourse, and of course you're going to have the grumpy old men that are like, oh, women don't belong here, but it's just not true. But then you also see the other side, like the side of the old men are this side, and then the women on this side saying, oh yeah, so they brought them out and then they're just letting them win, so they're even belittling women in that way. And I'm just like, oh, how do you win here? How do you win?
Yeah, there's an obvious, like,
Well,
it's
people are
really
talking about
obvious
them.
when they just kind of let you skate in and do whatever. I love it when a guy still plays me, but he recognizes the like size difference, right? Most guys I play against are a foot taller than me, 50 pounds heavier. I appreciate when they don't like play the body as hard, but I still want them to play the body. I still want a goalie to try.
Yeah.
I've never had a goalie, I think, actually like back off completely, because then I would score a million goals. Like, no, they play me in beer league just as hard, if not harder than the guys, because they're like, oh, I don't want a girl to score on me.
Yeah.
So like I think the goalies were
I
trying
think
ish,
Yeah.
but just as much as they were trying for the other
Nope.
guys too.
100%. We hockey players, no matter if you're a woman or a man, are competitors, and people that don't play and just complain on the sidelines understand that. You're so right with that. And your other point is so true, that nobody was trying for anything. So it's not like they were trying less, but a lot of them are maybe a few drinks in, like having fun where they can with their friends in Florida. Like it wasn't like life or death.
For sure. And that's all. It's so crazy how how the women on this side and the men on this side, like, how do you further the sport when no matter what you do, everybody is going to complain? It's absolutely wild to me.
Yeah, you showcase them, like involving them in skills competition, fastest skater, accuracy shooting. You don't necessarily have to put them up against the NHL players, but put them up against other women. Like show the young organizations, show the girls organizations, even show us adult women teams that like you don't have to always be competing against the guys in order to be entertaining, so to speak. But it's nice to see them out there. It is really nice, because if you did an all-star weekend for the women's national hockey leagues, like, you're not really going to get anybody to come out and do that. So this is a great forum for them, I think.
I also think, like, in the NBA, how much not that it's all about this either, but how like the NBA players support the WNBA, show up to the games. Obviously, you got a few. Kyrie Irving spent millions on their salaries and stuff, whatever you say about him, but he did that, and they show their support. So I'd like to see, and you see that a few times. Like, obviously, Amanda Kessel's brother Phil, you might have heard of him, shows out and wears her jersey sometimes. Jesse Compher, you've got a few, and it's nice for them. Like, I saw a picture of Mitch Marner and Sarah Nurse, and it's just nice because all the like misogynist haters, it's like, no, your favorite player loves these girls. So what does that say about you?
Sure. Exactly.
Well, didn't a woman too? I mean, I might be wrong here, Sarah. A woman just signed $200,000 on the P-Dub in the women's hockey league, which is kind of cool. I'm just saying, because I was just up in Buffalo. Yeah, I was just up in Buffalo, and they had the Buffalo Buttes right there. And a buddy of mine is their assistant coach. I played with the Merrimack, Jeff State. And, and it was kind of cool to see that, but I Jess, I agree with you that, and Sarah, that's pretty cool, because I think they've got to get behind the Professional Women's Hockey League. There's got to be some sort of relationship between the NHL and the Pro Women's Hockey League. There has to be something there. There has to be more support, because you're seeing, I mean, as a coach, real quick, as a coach, I'm seeing some young women's hockey player that are blowing the doors off of some of these younger guys. Now, I know once puberty hits and stuff like that, bodies develop and change and weight and hitting, like you're saying, Jess, but women, there's some young, really, really awesome young women's hockey players out there that I'm seeing in youth leagues at 11, 12, 13 that are just fantastic skaters and players, and they're playing with boys. And I know that's going to change. But there's got to be some help from the NHL.
The NHL has been, they've been pretty hesitant because there's been two leagues, and I totally get that. So I think they just all need to sit, I don't know, and I don't have the answers. Yeah. Clearly they've tried this, but it's like they need to figure that out, how to get one league where everybody feels supported and we can all get behind it, and support.
For sure.
I agree
and
there.
Outside of the game, the on ice product, let's talk about the off ice product where you come in, and the influx of women into the sport and in the journalism side of things. I just kind of want to talk to you about that, your journey into the journalism side of things. The one question I asked Nick when he said, "Oh, my cousin will come on," I'm like, "Well, does she play hockey?" And he said, "No, she's never played hockey, but she loves the game, and now she's doing this." So how did you get into the journalism side of hockey?
Yeah, it's funny. I went to Penn State, and they went from club to D1 when I was there. So I had friends on the team that were obviously guys. They were like, "Come to the game" or whatever. And I had been working for a blog called Onward State that covers sports, but I was doing more like general news stuff, trying to figure out. I wasn't working. It was like a student run newspaper that a lot of my friends were on, and they were like, "Why don't you try out and hang out with us?" So it all kind of came weirdly together. Where I always loved to write, like you knew that, Nick. I always loved to read and write and stuff.
Always.
And I loved sports. Like I played lacrosse. I just was not good at hockey.
Smartest family member ever.
Not saying much.
That's not what I said before we started recording.
Yeah.
So, yeah, of course. Yeah, Vin's the smartest. But I loved that stuff. I loved sports, even though I wasn't great at hockey. I was okay at lacrosse, and I always just kept an interest. And then I jumped on the opportunity to go to the hockey games. And it's like, hey, why don't I cover this team and start writing about hockey? And it was interesting to me, not just the on-ice stuff. It was also, okay, how did they get the funding? It was like Terry Pagula, and how did they get this arena, and who are they who are they hiring? I just thought the behind the scenes stuff was so fascinating. And then, sorry, I'm still losing my voice from the All-Star game. But then the years just went on. I kept covering this team, and it started to be evident that I was like kind of gaining a following on Twitter. And John Buccigross actually reached out to me before I had too much of a following. He was like, "Hey, keep up the good work. You're doing great." And I was just like, "What the hell?" Like I was so shocked that he would reach out to me. And then I got a job offer to come cover the Penguins, and I did a few trial things for them. And at this point, I was failing math, and I was going to drop out of college. I was like, "Let me just go cover this team," and I have not needed to get a degree since. It's just
Perfect.
been
awesome.
Great whirlwind.
Awesome. So what's been your
and also I was a big influence here too.
Yeah.
Let's not go there.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I needed to impress my cousin Nick. That was my number one priority.
Please.
So what's been like your favorite, like in all those Penn State up until the All-Star game, and let's not say All-Star game because that's probably a pretty big one. What's been your favorite thing that you've covered in the sport?
Oh, that's a tough one. Oh, there's so many. Obviously, Game 7, Leafs Bruins was pretty big, just because it was my first story I can remember a player like thanking me for writing. Not that it's all about that, but it was part of a special moment, and it made me feel like, oh, this is why I'm in it. I want to have people's like special moments commemorated. And then when I got to the Hurricanes, I think the storm surge, like knowing things were going to be special. And it was my first story that like I was on the Hurricanes plane and nobody was really covering them, and they hadn't made the playoffs for so many years. And I just thought to myself, oh, this is going to be a special team. I absolutely love Rod Brindamore, and getting to be along for the ride of him bringing like excellence back to this franchise was really, really special because it was unique. It wasn't like in the Bruins locker room, it was 700 other people trying to cover this, but in Carolina, it kind of felt like I got to bring people along, and I took pride in that. So
how do you handle, like, I'm sure you have a favorite team, and maybe it's Boston because you're a Boston person. How do you like, let's say your favorite team is playing a team you're actually working for. Like, how do you separate that fanaticism from your workism?
It's funny because this is probably the number one question that people ask me, but I don't know what it is. I genuinely don't have I obviously grew up being obsessed with the Bruins, but I think once you get to know these guys and the connections you make around the league, it's more about, and the tediousness of having to write a story after 82 games and you're traveling with them and whatever, you're ending up rooting for all the good people you know in the league. You're ending up rooting for an interesting story, and you're ending up rooting for like not a shootout.
Oh, you're not a shootout fan?
Yeah.
No, because then it's like 10 p.m. and you're like, all right, let's get this show on the road.
I was going to say, because it stretches everything out longer. Yeah.
Nikki, there's a really cool picture of my cousin Sara that I always love because she's little, right? She's not tall, she's little, right? And you see her in the locker room, and you see I think it was with Chara, I can't remember. I think I still have it, Sara, Was it Chara? And you see everybody like trying to get in, and then you see my little cousin Sara just come in like a bull and just stick that thing right in his face, and he actually talking to her instead of everybody around him, and it was really cool to see because everybody else basically around her was a man, right?
Yeah.
And Sara had to kind of fight her way through that, right?
I was
scared. It was just awesome. It was awesome to see.
I love the confidence, though.
Well, it was battling. It was fighting.
Choice.
It was she went after what she wanted. She's got 2 older brothers who are pains in my asses. She's she's fought for everything she's ever wanted. She's always done things her own way, and I'm always very proud of whenever I see anything that she does. And I love her to death. And when I get to see her, really fight and really do what she's doing, it's just awesome to see. And it's a really cool picture. And I'll have to see if I can find it, because I think I have it saved somewhere. I've heard just
most
battling
definitely.
to get
that down.
Battling to get
that
interview. That's just the best. Battling to get that interview was just awesome to see.
I think it's still my Facebook profile topic. I'm not sure. I haven't updated that in a minute. Behind that it was my first time ever interviewing him, and I was so scared because it's also like reporters that I've looked up to my whole life too. But somehow I was the first one there because I was looking around and everyone was interviewing Bergeron or something. I was like, let me get Chara. And I go over and I'm like, shit, he can tell I'm nervous. And I'm not usually like that. Like I can interview anybody I don't really know. But the first time, like I met Chris Chelios this weekend and I was like, I have to tell you, I can't act normal right now. I'm so nervous. He was so cool, but whatever. Every time I first meet somebody, I get a little nervous, but somebody that I really like. But anyway, I was like shaking and he was like, hey, and points to the TV and goes, I think we're going to be on TV. And it made me laugh because he was like trying to like calm me down. So he's a very humble guy. I love Chara.
Yeah, that's a funny story. All right, so like when you look at like Nick's on our show, and obviously Nick's like the high level hockey guy, and we all have things like we can pick on with each other. Like look at Kev in the middle; he's got a ficus in his background, so we make fun of him for that.
And ficus. It's not a ficus.
I love the setup.
Yeah, and
thank you very much, Sarah.
Yeah, and then for me, like I'm not very good at hockey, but like I do hockey for a living, so people can make fun of me for hockey. We need something embarrassing about Nick that we can make fun of him. So why don't you give us the most embarrassing story that you have about
look
Nick?
On his face.
And this is an extension
Where are we going
of the
with
locker room, so you can say whatever you want.
Oh my! I'll have to think about this actually.
Yeah, I'll see you at Christmas. I'll be in Boston in 2 months, there, kiddo. I'll call your mother right now.
Well, you got our Twitter handle,
Every story I can think of is like rated R. I don't think I can even. I can't think of a story that wouldn't be like, what? Don't say that. So.
Oh, you should hear the stories. You should hear the story details.
Well, I did tell her about I did tell them the accident one when I got hurt with the testicle. I told them that story.
Oh, yeah.
But
how
there was
about
also
when you brought some?
Go ahead.
Can I tell them this? Is this live or?
No. I can edit it out if it's bad.
Didn't you bring a girl home one day and she ended up in your parents' bed?
Yes, go ahead. Tell that.
No.
I think that's all I have from the story. But yes.
If you want me to tell, so I brought this girl home. She was a model, and she was gorgeous. She was from Louisiana. The whole thing. I was staying at my family, so it was like early 20s. Okay. And down here in Florida, and I was still living in Boston, but so me and the girl went out to have a couple of drinks, and the girl so the next morning she slept over, whatever. The next morning, I see my mother and father, they're just kind of talking, they're being fine, and then the girl leaves, and my mother looks at me like she wants to just slap me. So I guess what happened was the girl got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and again she was drunk. She instead of coming back to my room, she went into the bedroom, my parents' bedroom, and tried to sleep next to my father. And my father was like, whoa. And she was, she wasn't fully dressed, right? So it was.
This is great.
And you have to know my father too, right?
That'd be awesome.
You have to know my father too, because he's a big, heavy set Italian guy. You know what I mean? And he wears glasses, and if he doesn't wear his glasses, he can't see shit. right? It's hilarious. So yes, that was one. I thought she was going to tell a story about when I stayed at their house for the summer.
Well, we can tell that one.
She was upstairs.
Oh God, I barely remember that. I have like a bad memory of my childhood, so I don't know what that means. I barely remember that.
You have two idiots for brothers.
Yeah.
Sarah, do you live in Boston still?
In my parents' basement right here, where he used to live.
Oh, okay. Nice. We'll actually
we're all full circle right now.
I don't know if Jess, are you going to the Boston tournament?
Oh, I'm trying to actually. Yeah.
So we're doing we do these tournaments, Sarah, where like you don't need a team. Players just register, and then we make teams by beer chugging contest on Friday night, and then everyone has like you get a themed uniform. So we're doing like famous bars in Boston, but we're going to be in Boston on St. Patty's Day. So if you're around, I'll hit you up, and maybe you come out and be a pinch beer chugger for us.
Oh yeah!
Oh my God,
awesome.
I'd love nothing more.
I'd be a fangirl.
We'll exchange contact info.
Yeah, well, Sarah, I might be up there anyways because I told you I got the job in the NCDC. So I'll be up there. I should be up there March 1st anyways, and we can kind of figure it out as well.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So,
awesome.
Well, I don't want to take
up.
I don't want to take up too much more of your time because I know you're busy and you kind of do hockey, 24/7 probably. Answering social media has just got to be a pain in the ass. So I just want to say thank you for coming on and sharing your story with us. And if you ever had anything you want to promote, actually tell people about your podcast too, so people can go check it out.
Yeah, Too Many Men. It's a part of the Le Batard and Friends Network. If you guys know Dan Le Batard, it's been an absolute. I was just there last week for the first time. They're based in Miami, and it's been a blast working with them. A dream, things of that nature. It's been amazing. I also work for Bleacher Report Open Ice, so we're trying to make hockey a little bit fun. That's where you can find my articles. But yeah, I'm kind of testing the new waters after being a beat reporter for a while. So having a good time.
Yeah, good time.
Sarah, I love you, and tell your mother and father I said hello, and let me know if you need anything too. And I'll talk to you soon, right? I mean, because we got Mark's having the baby, and then Haley's having the baby here too. So we've got a couple of things. Yeah, a lot of babies, and we got that thing in June we got to go to as well, right? You're going to be around for that?
Yeah. I will be.
Okay.
Sarah, it was nice to meet you. Say hi to your mom and dad.
Love you.
Yeah,
take a black light to the walls and send pictures
so much
to us.
Love you.
Thanks, Sarah.
Bye, Sarah.
Bye.
All right, that was Sarah. So I'm glad she came on to join. I mean, obviously, just different insight from inside hockey stuff we don't normally get to see. So Nick, thanks for hooking us up with Sarah.
For sure.
That
was awesome.
I'm glad she was able to tell us a funny story about you, since you're always telling
She's
stories.
a rock star. Yeah, you have to understand, she's like, what am I? I'm 42. She's like 30. So she's like, it's like a 12, 15 year difference, there. So she's got two brothers that are older that are like, kind of like my little brothers. One's a New York firefighter, and nice. Stuff like that too. And Sarah's always done her own thing, right?
Yeah.
She's been Sarah, she's massively smart. She's always just done, instead of the boys with the Italian thing and everything, Sarah's always done her own thing. And I've always been so proud and happy for her. I'm considered, like I said, the older cousin. And, I don't like all my cousins, but for her, I've beaten the piss out of a couple of guys. And she's, she's my little rock star right there. There's a cool picture. Awesome. There's a picture of all the cousins right there. And when she was a baby and she's sitting on my shoulders. Stuff. And I love her to death.
Awesome.
We have a new segment for BLPA called Family and Friends, and you also get to bring childhood photos of yourself and your cousins, and we'll just share.
Perfect. But other than that, guys, I mean, we got a lot of stuff going on, and I hope you guys come out and join us. If you're in Savannah, I'll see you shortly. Sounds like Nick's going to be in the Boston area when we're in Boston, so maybe we can get him out to the draft party. Maybe he can even play. Maybe we can get Sarah out there to drink some beers with us and tell people about the draft experience, because it's one of those things that in the hockey world not many people know about, and we need more people to know about it. So they'll come out and just the more friends make the experiences more fun. So other than that, anybody got anything to add before we leave for this week?
Wish me luck in Canada this weekend. I'm going
up to Canada.
Brampton, outside of Toronto for I think it's like 16 women tournament. I've never been to Canada this time of year, so I'm afraid I'm going to freeze to death.
Brampton's a cool little place, Jess. It's a cool little place. I've got some.
If you got any recommendations? Let me know.
I
heard that there's like an outdoor skating next to the rink that we're playing at.
Let me reach out to. I got a couple buddies who were from Brampton who played named Marco Rosa and stuff like that. They have I think it's an AJ team right there. Okay. But it's a great little town, and it definitely is. And if I find anything out, I'll reach out to you. But
okay, sounds good.
That should be a lot. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I did the Vegas Women's Classic 2 weekends ago, which is a blast. They get a whole bunch of teams from all over the country. It's a really big. I challenge. It might be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, women's tournament that's out there for adults, and it's just so much fun and just so much competition, and it's a really good time. But so this is more of like a small local one, so we probably will get our asses handed to us because we're playing Canadians and we're all Americans. So, but we'll have fun. We always win it. Yeah. We always win at having fun, not necessarily on the scoreboard.
We always win at drinking.
Yes,
that's Jess is a drinker. So, all right, well, we'll see you guys next week. We'll have Yabo on next week.
Yeah, I'll get Yabo on next week, and then there's a guy too I want to probably try to get on to Trevor Gillies, and then the week after that. If you know Trevor, Google him as well too. He's an NHL tough guy and stuff, but he's got a pretty cool story and and things like that. And I'm going to try to get Georgie Paros on here too. I don't know if you guys know George Paros.
Yeah, violent gentleman guy.
Yeah. The cool thing about George too is one of the toughest guys ever to play in the NHL, and he's got a degree from Princeton. So it's always the big joke with that, right? Because
that's unusual. That's definitely
unusual. No, he played at Princeton for 4 years. He's got a degree from Princeton and ends up becoming an NHL tough guy. So it's always a big joke, like, what are you doing that? But we're going to have some really cool people on, like that I've worked out here, and and whoever I can get on. But we're going to have some really cool people in the lineup in the next couple of weeks, and that's why I'm happy to be here.
Perfect. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, until next week, everyone stay safe. Hopefully I'll see you in Savannah. If not, we'll see you on next week's episode where we'll be back live on Facebook. I was just on hotel internet, and I didn't know if the hotel internet could handle all the feeds at one time. So other than that, guys, thank you very much, and be good or be good at it.
Bye.
Keep it down with Boston, boys. See you later.